Hi there, and welcome back to the channel to another reading. I say welcome back, obviously, that's to anyone who's been watching some of the videos before, some of the readings. So blessed to have you, and I hope to continue to see you. To anyone new, I just want to say welcome. This is well, for the most part, it's kind of a tarot oracle reading channel. But I will also share various other things, what sort of comes to mind. Um, so I hope whatever experience you have with this channel, I hope that this reading is for you. What's going to happen is I'm going to draw a key card from this deck, and this deck is the Star Codes Astro Oracle by Heather Roan Robbins. A very beautiful deck, very kind of graphic deck. You'll see that it's kind of resembles this a lot. So it's kind of this surreal kind of beautiful artwork. Whereas our additional oracle deck is the Herbal Astrology Oracle made by Adriana uh, Ayala's, I think the name is. I'm sorry if that's pronounced wrong. That is a more artistic, natural kind of way to do the artwork, and that's really the beauty of the different decks out there. That you can kind of tap into the kind of artwork, the kind of theme, thought. Uh, what's that called? I guess it's called themes, basically. You can tap into whatever it is that resonates with you. So if your world, if fairies is something, fairies and unicorns is something that makes you happy and something that you feel connects with something that resembles your way of spiritual path, then there are plenty of oracle and tarot decks to sort of tap into that, to sort of resonate with um, that kind of way of being in the spiritual realm. And if you're in preference of astrology, there's lots of cards resembling that. So yeah, that's kind of going off on a limb here, but there are plenty of ways to find the deck or the decks that will resonate with you if you haven't already walked down that path. So that's going to be our additional oracle cards, and this was really odd because I tend to. It can be an event like this is actually a solstice reading. It's also a timeless reading, so if you're tapping into this at any time that's not a solstice, then and you're feeling drawn to the reading, then it's probably because there's something for you. But um, at this present, as I'm doing this, it's actually solstice, and that's the reason why I wanted to do a reading. And the first thing that kind of pops into my head is the various decks that want to be used. So we had the Star Codes Astro, we had the Herbal Astrology, which kind of makes sense that they're the ones popping up in my head. This one is the Aleister Crowley, the Thoth Tarot, and it is so rare that I use this that as it popped into my head, I was kind of like, oh, okay, well, if that's what you want, then that's what we'll do. But and I rarely use them because I'm not, as I said before, when we find decks that resonate with us, the reading becomes a lot more easy. And that actually makes me a little bit nervous about this reading because usually the Thoth Tarot doesn't really connect with me. So I'm interested in seeing what this deck has to tell us all today. Now, what's left to say? Um, I actually think I covered the basics. Of course, if any of this resonates with you, then subscribe, like, comment, all of that. Whatever you can do to help a small channel. Much great gratitude from here. Um, I want to say this, and I say this as I've started doing this kind of reading. I've said it in every single video that when I draw the key card, this is not going to be a pick a card reading where you have 3 cards to choose from. So when I draw the key card, there's going to be two sort of responses within you. Either you're going to continue feeling drawn into the reading, and my message to you would be to follow that. The other path is that you can kind of feel like, nah, this doesn't really resonate. If you have that, there's again two paths to go from, and that is, nah, this doesn't resonate, but I'm still not feeling like I should stop the video. Then it's probably because some of the other cards are having something for you. Um, but bear in mind that the center of the entire reading will probably revolve around this unless the cards are pulling us somewhere else. But they usually have their own idea on, on how things are going to be. So it's hard to say something in advance. But usually the intent is that the key card is going to be sort of the fundamental thing under the building of the house. You may also have this, nah, I don't resonate with this card, and you're not really feeling like watching more. Then I can tell you with absolute certainty there is nothing in this reading that is for you. Actually, I want to correct that. There may be something in this reading for you, but if you're not at all drawn to it, then this is not the time for you to hear it. Okay? So the key tool any viewer of any tarot channel can have is the intuition. Um, that is your key tool in order to watch videos like this, because there are plenty of tarot readers out there, and very, very good readers indeed. Also, I follow a few of them myself, quite a few actually. um, and I'm that in tune with my intuition that whenever the notification pops up, because I have a handful of channels that I really strongly resonate with, for some reason magic happens. Um, and I know when a notification pops up whether or not I'm supposed to go into that reading. But you may also find that it can be hard to determine, and you find yourself looking through a lot of different readings. If that is the case, if that is where you are, I would like to challenge you to actually try and maybe take notes of that, what helps you, but at least notice how you're feeling within as you are listening to the readings, because that can actually also be a very good way of practicing getting in touch with your intuition. But again, I'm going off on a limb. Let's put these cards to one side and draw our key card. And I'm gonna I'm gonna stop rambling a little bit. Well, at least about things I didn't plan to say. So cards off to a side, and then let's have a key card. I'm just gonna say that I live in an apartment building, and I know that my neighbor has his kids over for the weekend. So if there's any, child chatter in the background that the microphone picks up on, it's just because it's kind of, the walls are very thin, let me put it this way. So I'm probably doing a reading for my neighbors as well as I'm doing this. But anyway, if there are sounds of children or traffic or something like that. It's just because this is an apartment, it's in the city. So, yeah, I hope that doesn't disturb what I have to say and what the cards have to show us. So, let's find the key card. As I'm blending these and mixing these up, I want to say that setting this table up with these cards, I was kind of pondering what it was that the cards wanted to reveal. Because, yeah, it was a solstice, and yeah, the cards popped up, but sometimes it's nice to have an intention for a reading. And oops, there was one here. And it dawned on me that, or it just popped up into my head actually, that the intent here would be, I'm not going to say a blessing because I actually feel like that is a big word. But I think what the cards are and what the entire uh, intention is set around is kind of what is coming, what is being built up. Um, Solstice for me is kind of like a dawn. I actually feel like I want to draw this one right now as well. Solstice for me is kind of like a dawn period. Um, this is where the light turns. This is where the light starts to build. Thank you, and thank you. This is where the light builds. This is where there's a lot of hope revolved around a solstice. I mean, in the olden days, as you set into the harvest and you faced the dark period, it wasn't without a certain kind of um, deep respect, because people knew that that dark time could cost lives. And people knew that as the light shifted, then they had passed that halfway center and things were getting better from then on. So I think there's a lot of hope in a solstice. I think there's a lot of new beginning intentions in a solstice. But let's call it a blessing for now. What blessings um, are to be shown? What I'm hearing, where do we build our hope around? What do we build our hope around? So anyway, that's the kind of energetic thing there is about this. Let's see the key card. Wow. Progression's journey. This is also, I hardly think this can be any more beautiful. We have number, what's that? 56. That is actually, when you put them together, that's 11. That's one of the big numbers in numerology. Wow. Progressions. I mean, can you pick a better card for a solstice, for a time of dawn, for a time of hope? Progressions, journey. Yes. Beautiful card. And then we have Dandelion, Wounded Healer. Let's just pick them up here. And we have Chiron up here and Jupiter. Yes. And then we have, oh, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Jurgen Sacha. there's probably going to be a lot of you out there who actually knows how to pronounce this, who's laughing at me right now. My apologies for not knowing. Oh, look at that. Number 22. We have 11 and 22. We have two of the big numbers in this reading. Wow. And do you also realize how much like the tower in a tarot this looks like? It's Transfiguration. The other one was Wounded Healer. I don't know if I mentioned that. Right. Those are big, big cards. And how well they speak together, actually. I mean, this, you can hardly write it, actually, because we have a progression here. We have a, and what happens with progressions is that we transform, we turn into something better, bigger, stronger. We have the transfiguration here. Transfiguration is actually not just transformation, it's turning into something completely different. And if I for a moment have to tap into the energies that you know, you've probably heard it in other videos, although I mean I'm sure as a spiritually aware person you will have heard about the new world, about how things are changing, and the time of the Aquarius. And this is actually because transfiguration is not, it's turning into something completely different. And I absolutely love the chronology about this, because we have the journey, we have the wounded healer transfiguring into something new. We don't know what that new is, but we do know that dandelion is such a potent herb. Really utterly amazing. I mean, whatever, whether it's tea, soup, pesto, I mean, use it as much as you can because it's such a good herb. Um, well, not overusing it, because no food can. It's not good to sort of overeat on one specific food. You know, vary your foods, but dandelion is absolutely one that if you can, then incorporate it into your more awakened kind of kitchen magic. So the energy I'm seeing here, if we're looking into the solstice and the dawn, I'm seeing an energy of shifting into something new. And it's shifting from something that I'm getting this thing in my head. I want to say that if you feel like you, how do I voice this? You are having your own magical power. But there's something, you've been put through something in your life that holds that power back. And that challenge is hard. And I can say this with absolute certainty, because it's one of the things that I kind of struggle with myself on occasion. But the wounded healer is kind of this, what in whatever realm your spiritual path is taking you. These three cards are actually showing you that to progress, there are some things you have to set aside. If you have to transfigure into what you're actually meant to be, there's something that has to be shed, something that has to be left behind. And that's a progression, that's a journey in all of this. I'm putting this here because this is kind of a gentle cutting through the layers, the veils remedy. Let me just pull it up for you. It looks like this. It has kyanite in it and some coronation flowers, among other things. So yeah, there is a progress here. There is definitely an opening of something. I mean, 11 and 22. I'm trying my best not to swear right now, but this is really... I'm actually getting a little bit moved by it. My dear soul, if this is a reading that you've been drawn into and you feel with absolute certainty, or in the beginning, if you feel with absolute certainty that this was a reading for you, I want to say this is your time. Okay? Use the power of this solstice. And it's not going to be long, then we're going to hit the new moon phase. And the new moon era is another potent thing. And we're still in the power of the solstice at that time. I know that there's a lot of people saying that the Yuletide is kind of these 4 days. But it's still in the very beginning of the light shift. And then we have the new moon adding to that sort of build up. So if this is a reading that you've been drawn to, I definitely want to say take these couple of weeks and really use them as an introspect. Use them to look within and to actually tap into where you feel your spiritual path is taking you. And put your money and your heart on that. Because that path is there for a reason. That feeling, that urge is there for a reason. And this is just telling you to go ahead. Right. So let's see. May we get additional clarification, please? additional clarification on the tools where the soul's watching, or the tools which the soul's watching might benefit from using. Are you going to have to talk clearer to me? Some tools around that can be useful for this process. Okay, there you were. I'm going to get another one. Yep. You see how they're not really that eager to come out when I have them in my hands. So let's see. Oh wow. We have the Two of Cups. Let's just move these up a little bit. There we go. We have the Two of Cups. We have the Ace of Discs. And we have the Moon. Yes, my lovely people, manifest. You have the way to go within. The Two of Cups is kind of this card of love. It's usually a card resembling relationships. But considering the fact that we have it with the dandelion and the wounded healer, I want to say that it's not as much about, nurturing the love in a relationship with another person, but more likely nurturing the love in the relationship with yourself. But you already know we have the moon of the subconscious, the moon of, well, the emotions too. This is already existing within you. This is not about you going out finding new spiritual skills. You already have it. So that is something that you can definitely, in however way you practice, meditate, clarifying rituals, all of that is something you can work with. You already have it. Right. Is there a message for the souls taking this journey? Is there a message? Is there something else that they should know about this journey? Something else that comes to mind. We have Valor, the Seven of Wands, and we have the Lust card, which is kind of the old Strength card. One thing I'm seeing here is go ahead. We have Mars. We have, the power of making things coming into reality. What I'm seeing with this card is kind of like the devil card in a traditional. I'm actually not sure if that's going to be okay with YouTube. Oh well, I'll see, and I'll put a sticker over it if I have to. Let me just put a thumb here. Because YouTube do have censure rules. So we have a lady undressed on the top of a what seems to be a lion, but actually holds so many faces. For me, this is kind of like the devil card. This is kind of like the balance between temptation and holding control. You know, what I'm also seeing in this one is the fertility and the blooming into something new. So, for me, that says go ahead. And that's really all that can pop into my head is go ahead. I'm not really seeing any major roadblocks. I'm not seeing any difficulties. Obviously, any transfiguration, any transformation are going to have difficulties. I mean, there's no way around that. But I'm not seeing anything, you know, sort of devastating other than the fact that the transformation and the transfiguration in and on its own can be a very much challenging thing to go through because suddenly, it can shift our values, it can shift our, the way we sort of schedule our day, the way we step up in life. It can change so many things, and not everybody is going to be on cue with that. Not everybody is going to be like, okay, well, you're just transforming. There's going to be usually at least one or two people who's going to be like, why are you being like this? You don't usually act like this, or you don't usually um, spend a lot of time doing that, or, stuff like this. Always going to be someone questioning. So any transformation, any transfiguration, any change is always going to come with a slight push. Take that as the universe testing you if you want this enough. Okay? Because nothing comes easy. I know it's a cliche to say, but nothing comes easy. And there are going to be, sort of kind of a push that you have to sort of find a way through. There's going to be something that resists. There's going to be something that is not that as flexible as you could want it. That is the entire purpose of a transformation. That is you having to dig through something, because when you dig through it, you're going to realize what you need to move forward and what you don't need and actually have to let go. I am not in this reading. I mean, sometimes we can be put in a situation where we have to let go of something very valuable. I'm not really seeing this here. I'm not seeing, the big exclamation marks, the big dangers. I'm not seeing any of that. I'm just seeing, trust yourself, trust the universe, trust the fact that you're here for a reason. Trust the fact that the wounds that you have are actually the ones that make you stronger and make you more capable of going through that transfiguration. It gives you, your wounds are your tools to progress. Okay? It's so funny when I'm doing these readings because I can talk and talk and suddenly my mind goes quiet. there's nothing more coming in. And I can look at them, I can look at the cards, and I can be like, well, was that it? Is there really nothing more to say? And I can kind of doubt myself whether or not I've completed the circle, I've, tied the bow and all of that. But I'm just going to have to trust that when my head goes quiet, when my mind goes quiet, when no more words are popping into my head wanting to be spoken, I'm just going to have to trust that what needed to be said has already been said. You know what? I'm going to let, for those of you that need it, I'm going to let the video run for a little bit, and I'm gonna let you just take in these cards. Obviously, if you want to connect with any of these, you can too. But I think I always do a little bit of editing afterwards, and I think that as I edit this, I'm just gonna put on some sort of music, and I'm gonna allow you to tap into this. Take this as I'm going to give you 5 minutes and take this as your time to sort of tap into what this means for you. You know, grab, pen and paper, whatever you need, and use those 5 minutes to tap into these cards. For my part, I'm focusing on these, but if there's anything down here that you need to sort of tap into as well, then you can do that. So before I start the music and let you sit with these cards, I just want to say thank you for watching. Um, I wish you, if you feel like this is resonating with you, if this is your reading, your message, then I wish you all the best with that journey. And I'm so grateful to be able to show you these cards. Thank you to anyone watching. Um, this is a small channel, so if this resonated with you, if this is something that you want to see again, then, like, subscribe, do all of that, magic that you can do in order to support a small channel. Um, in any case, even if you just watch this and don't want to leave any marks of likes and subscribes and stuff like that, I totally respect that. I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being who you are and dare to be who you are. I'll see you in the next reading. Have a very, very blessed solstice, my dear souls. Bye.